Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Umesh Suprati, and I've been working in the field of network and system administration since 2006. Since then, I have assumed many titles and roles, but my core focus and area has always been the same, and that is networking, servers, data backup and restore, and cybersecurity. So I learned system administration with Red Hat Linux in the year of 2004 during my final year of the college. And in 2008, I started working with Windows servers as well. So in the last 14 years of my career, I have done countless projects. And when I look back, I wish I had documented those in some kind of form so that I could revisit them and learn from my mistakes. And so I could avoid those mistakes in the future. So I learned from that mistake of not documenting and decided to open this channel where I'll start documenting from the very basic labels. And by doing so, I'm hoping that it'll provide some guidance to those who are just starting out in the field of networking and system administration. So without any delay, let's start today's topic. First topic. Actually, before starting today's topic, let's talk briefly about VirtualBox and VMware Workstation Player. If you have used it, you might already know what's the difference, but if you have used one or the other, let me briefly talk about it. Both of them are great type 2 hypervisor, which means they both need a host operating system, either Windows or Linux, and it creates an environment to run virtual machines. VirtualBox is developed by Oracle and it's completely free and it'll let you run multiple VMs at the same time. Whereas Workstation Player, VMware Workstation Player, is a licensed product, but you can also use it as a free version. The only catch is you can run only one VM at one time in the free version, using a free version. So I use VMware in my professional career. I use VMware vSphere platform managed servers using vCenters and the vMotions and all that features that it comes with the enterprise license. But I recently started using VirtualBox at home to create a small networks of servers and routers so that I could do some cross connections between VMs and test my projects. So last night I installed Kali Linux in BTRFS file system, which is not a default file system for Kali Linux. Kali Linux uses an ext4 as a default file system. But this file system allows you to have many great features. And I find in particular, the snapshot support is very helpful. We take snapshots from VMware all the time when we start new projects or doing something new in the server. So we take a snapshot, start working on it, and if everything goes wrong, we just delete the snapshot. If not, then we'll just go back and revert back our state of the operating system to the previous snapshot. It's a very handy feature, works great. So if you're using either VMware or VirtualBox, then snapshot feature within the Linux might not be very surprising or might not be very useful because you can create those snapshot from VMware or VirtualBox anyway. You just have to go click and then click a snapshot and then just click and take a snapshot, give it a name, and it'll just create a, for example, snapshot, and it'll just create a snapshot. It's a current state. This is a current state, and this is previous snapshot. You can see the detail here, all that. And you can simply delete the snapshot. So when you delete, you'll just be on the current state. So that's a basic idea of the snapshot. But if you're running on bare metal, the Linux, Kali Linux, using BTRFS file system, then you can use this feature to roll back your state of the operating system. So let's go and start. I've done a couple of testing, worked great, and I wanted to show you that feature to you as well. So let me run this on the full screen mode. On the VirtualBox, you can hit Control and Home. Gives a little menu, and you can run full screen mode. Just give a little warning, say how can you come out of it, and just click OK. So this is running as a virtual machine inside the VirtualBox. Enter the command terminal command line. Let me zoom it a little bit. Make it full screen as well. So here's the command line, and we'll try. We'll assume that this is a bare metal install and try to use the snapshot feature. So let's try to pick up one package that's not installed. Let's see if traceroute. Okay, so traceroute command is not installed by default in Kali Linux, so we cannot use traceroute command. Command not found traceroute. So what we are going to do is we are going to install traceroute and then use the feature, which will create a snapshot, and then we'll roll back to the previous version using the snapshot. The guideline that Kali provided on this website, it's very very detailed. Everything is layout, very clear, detailed. Only thing you have to pause and be careful is here where you enter the domain name. They don't want you to continue. They want you to go to the virtual terminal using Control-Alt F2 and then start and proceed the rest of the installation until here. Here you have to be a little bit careful about creating a swap partition when you give size and choose logical. So it will be on the extended drive. So you can choose beginning or end. It's your preferences. Here on the use as system, just choose swap area. By default, it says ext4 file system, which is for the new partition. And then you just go ahead and continue with the guidelines is pretty clear and great, so you can just follow. And then here on the new file system, just select BTRFS file system and then continue, done with the partition. Then when you're done partitioning, writing on the disk, there are a few commands that they want you to execute while you're on the virtual terminal. And when you're here, done, you're done with the sub volume list target. You'll go through it and you'll understand. And then just come back to your graphical mode and hit continue. Continue with the partition. You already did with the man part man. Click yes, and then continue. And then here, this is one of the important steps. So when it comes to the step, it says installation complete. You do not hit continue. That's very important. You go back to the virtual terminal again and then do make directory, temporarily mount in the target, and then edit the FS tab. So here what we are doing is we're giving the sub volume as a target mount when we actually mount the root folders and snapshot folders, home folder and main root folder. So your main root folder will be mounted as a sub volume when you actually mount it. So that's the rule that we defined in the FS tab. And then this is one optional. I didn't do this one, so you can do if you want to. And then after that's done, you just come back again and hit continue and it'll finish the installation. So after installation, there's some post-installation steps that you have to do in order to in order to take advantage of the snapshot feature. So pretty good guideline, everything is clear. One thing I noticed is the vim command might not work. It didn't work for me, so I'm just giving you some warning here. When you edit the FS tab using VM, it should be somewhere here. This one. This line didn't work for me, so I had to use nano, but they said here nano anyway, so you'll not have any problem. So I followed everything, installed pretty good. I did the snapshot feature, and I wanted to show you that with you. So let me install a package. Package. Let's go to the full screen. Okay. So sudo apt-get update. So it will update the repository for any future installation. So now let's go and install traceroute. So here, this is important, create a snapshot. So actually, when you run apt-get and or apt command, if your system is configured with the BTRFS and then followed all the procedure to create a snapshot, it will create a snapshot automatically. And now, after creating a snapshot, it will install the traceroute command. So now you should see the traceroute command here. My firewall is probably blocking all the packets so it doesn't go outside, but get the idea. There's a traceroute packet command now available. Let me clear the screen. So now we can use the command to list all the snapshots. So today the snapshot is this one that we created. And these are the multiple snapshots. So you can use apt BTRFS delete command if you want to delete a snapshot. Let me delete this snapshot that I created. Copy and paste. So it deleted sub volume because snapshot is also a sub volume. So now list command and only 3 snapshots available. So now let's roll back, and to roll back you just have to mount your disk to the folder. So we're going to do that now. Sudo mount, and let me show you my so my root folder is mounted on /dev/sda2. You can actually do grep so that I can print only the line starts in the so there you go. So everything is mounted on SDA2 as a sub volumes, which we did in FS tab. So let's go and mount. Mount. So this is today's snapshot, and these are the sub volumes that got mounted. So now we can create one backup of the root folder just in case. Sudo sudo move +nt. So today's just back up this one. It's a backup today. So we're moving root folder into this folder backup -today. This is in backup. So now if you do lstmnt, there's a new backup today folder. And now after we created a backup, we are going to move this snapshot to the root folder. So for that, we use the same move command /mnt /apt snapshot 25 and space +mnt /root. So we are moving the moving command. The move command will move this sub volume inside the root volume, and while doing so, it will also rename as a root volume. So, right. Now lsmnt, so that today's snapshot is gone because it got renamed as a root volume. I'll clear the screen one more time, and then use apt-get snapshot list. So today's snapshot should be gone. Yes, as expected, because we roll back. Now we are going to restart. So down -r now. And when we come back, the traceroute command should be gone again because we didn't have traceroute. So when we installed traceroute using apt-get command, sorry, excuse me, system created a snapshot automatically. And then when we revert back using that snapshot, it went to the same state where the traceroute was not installed. So now when we come back, we shouldn't have the traceroute command. And if that's the case, then we know that snapshot worked and rollback went smoothly. Sudo traceroute, it should say command not found again. There you go. So traceroute is not installed in this state, which is true because we revert back using the snapshot. And apt-get so that snapshot is gone. And now we have successfully used the snapshot feature. You can go ahead and delete those backups that we created. And to do that, let's go and mount again. So let's mount. And the command to delete those backup is BTRFS sub volume delete the backup. Backup delete sub volume and backup today. So that's also got deleted. Yes, these folders are gone. The backup that we created. So that is all. Very simple process once you have system configured and ready. So you just have to be careful on those couple of steps. Switch back to the virtual terminal, come back to the graphical again, and then continue. So, and then continue with some post installation commands, and you should be all good. I hope you saw the demonstration, how it works, and hopefully you guys can experiment using your own VM virtual machines and If there's anything that needed attention, let me know. We can discuss. But thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon in my next video.